Hello, I'm Tony.
I'm Louie.
And this is Talking During the Movie.
It's the Talking During the Movie podcast with your hosts, Louie Gravance and Tony Whitten.
All right, now I'm especially excited about this.
You are
because this is perhaps the most controversial popular culture movie. Not only to come out this summer, but to come out this year so far. Even more, I would say, more contentious than Batman versus Superman.
Yes, and I'll be curious to hear what you have to say first, because you and I have never talked about this franchise at all.
No, we really haven't. No.
So, but if I were a betting man, I would say that you hold the originals close and dear to your heart.
I would say I hold the first movie close and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I saw.
Yes. Well, we're talking about the new Ghostbusters, and the original Ghostbusters. It landed on American culture in a way that very, very few movies have. Very few movies. So I think it's unfair.
Of course, you were probably the perfect age for it as well.
I was. Yeah. So I was very young. I was still in school, and so yeah, that movie hit, and I don't know if you could actually pinpoint why it did. But it just landed, and America went Ghostbusters crazy for that year and the next one as well. And something about it spoke to people. I do think it's unfair to compare this one to the cultural phenomena that the original one was, but comparisons are almost unavoidable, I think. So I will tell you what I think of I did not like Ghostbusters 2. I thought that was pretty bad.
It's a terrible motion picture.
It's a terrible movie.
I saw both
even though
of
it's
them.
almost an identical plot.
I saw them.
It's terrible.
Right afterwards, after I saw this one.
Yeah.
And the first one, it's a really...
The first one's fantastic. It's just pure fun.
The second one is pretty awful.
The second one's really bad.
So anyway, go ahead.
It seemed like a cash grab.
Think?
Yes. This one I did like. I thought it was very, very funny. Had lots of humorous moments. Not without flaws, but I thought almost everyone in it, was fine. Yeah. But here's the thing. The flaws were that they tried to give each of these characters justifications for their roles, but then the justifications didn't pay off. Like, where's the payoff of this? And this isn't giving anything away. Like, Kristen Wiig, for instance, is set up in the trailer as mathematical whiz. But that's not what she winds up bringing to the team. It's not like she uses her mathematics to save the day, her physics knowledge. So they kind of set up this... All of these characters have some sort of backstory, but that's not what winds up saving the day at the end of it. I thought the villain was uncompelling. Weak is right. Where's his? They gave all these other characters backstories. Where's his backstory? I didn't get that. The receptionist, I didn't understand quite why he was the way he was, other than for comic effect. Is that all?
So adorable.
Aren't I?
Oh.
But my main thing with this movie is after watching it...
I meant Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, yeah. He's very pretty. But thank you that I thought that you were talking of me for rambling on. After watching this movie, it made me feel like I had just watched the most expensive television pilot ever produced.
Well, you did. In a way, I guess.
It's so set up for a franchise. And I that's one of the new movie trends also that I do not like. That they assume that you are going to come for the fourth movie, even if the first movie isn't up to par.
Right. And sometimes it's really like galling.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like a real third-rate film and it's got, it teases that it's going to be a franchise and you're going, maybe not.
Maybe not. You've got to make each individual movie a story of its own, and each one has to be good. Now, it's okay if you have you can leave some open doors, but when you are purposely setting up for Ghostbusters 5 right now, then you're taking away from this story.
But as you say, that's an industry trend.
Yes.
You could hardly fault this particular production company, this particular franchise, this particular
But I'm saying that
intellectual property.
That mentality is taken away from the story here, where they could have taken that part out and put in some good plot points.
To your point, I thought
Yes.
it was safe. I thought that they needed to make sure that that the two leading women had the exact same amount of lines, that the two supporting women had the exact amount of lines. I really felt that everything they were careful to make sure that every old ghost was in there. They were careful to make sure there was an homage paid to.
There's lots of winks and nods, a few cameos.
I mean, it's very careful. It's like sex with a condom. It's like very, it's like there's something very careful about every single moment, whether you intend for it to be or not.
I would say safe. I don't know about the condom thingy, but
you know what I'm saying.
Safe is a good word. Yes.
So,
yeah.
However, I think it is a much maligned product, and I think that it is, and this isn't saying much, the best comedy I've seen in a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, I
this
do.
One?
Yeah, because I'm telling you, Tony, this has been Drek. Cinematic comedy has really been the last.
It's been a bad year.
No, it's been more than a bad year. I think it's like we're almost talking. When was the last Tropic Thunder?
Oh, that was fantastic.
When was the last time there was something that was that?
Yeah,
smart?
but I don't know if this is that movie to bring it out. I think it's
No, but
it's not a bad spot.
But laugh
I
per
think it's a great
laugh.
spot. There are some fun laughs. It tends to tilt towards the crude side, just so you know. But there is a lot of good humor in
about
here.
that so much.
Yeah, I tend to notice it. Maybe I'm just getting old fashioned now that I saw Ghostbusters when I was young.
But I would highly recommend it on a lark. I think that
I don't know if I'd highly recommend it, but I would definitely recommend it. Yes, I wouldn't say no. Don't avoid this. No.
And to your other point about the sequel, I did have the feeling though when I watched it, I do want to see another one because I have a feeling that this will be. Occasionally, the second one is better. Everybody calms down. They know what their strength is.
Not often, but it's not
Not
unheard,
often,
It's
not
not
often.
unheard of. More often than not, it's not as good as the first.
But
one.
I think this could be one of those films. I think they could get their act together and do a better second one. And
Well, that's what
but
I'm
it's
saying.
not
They
a bad
shouldn't
movie.
have to. They shouldn't have to get your act together on this one because if this one isn't good,
there's
then no
nothing
one's going to see the
lazy about it.
second
There's
one.
nothing lazy about it.
Well, they put their time and money into it,
And that
but they spend some of that time and money setting up stuff that you might not even get to see.
stay for the credits afterwards because they clearly, and where it was going,
Yeah.
had a huge musical number with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Cut it.
And you can tell watching that, like,
that
they obviously
something
cut
is
it out
cut,
because
and then
this is dragging too long. Let's go.
Then they play it over the credits. It's adorable. It's really cute. See, I think he worked.
But then while you're watching that, you're looking, going, they cut that for time.
Do you think most people are going to think that?
That's the first thing I thought.
Because it's so well produced. I mean,
Yeah.
this musical number is
They obviously
he's doing
spent a lot of
Anne
time on
Margaret
this.
moves
Yeah.
and
It looked like everyone was having a lot of fun. Very Cuban Pete, where everyone possesses the crowd there.
But that's exactly the feeling I had was we got to excise this. We got to move this along. We're going to bring this in at an hour and 45 minutes if it kills you.
But they spent all the money. Yeah, I think cutting more for pacing probably than timing, like full on length. Mm-hmm. To me, it seems like this was already taking a while.
Plus,
if we're going to spend all this money, but they wanted to put it in there, so that was a good way to put it in without having it affect the whole story itself.
You have two women that really know what they're doing in front of a camera, and you have two women that are very new to this, and I thought that absolutely showed. I thought that
I thought all the four did fine. Honestly.
More than fine.
Yeah, my main problem was with the villain, but I don't think that's really the fault of the person, but the fault of the writing to set up this villain, And even Chris Hemsworth, he had a few like gags, but he was basically there for gags. He wasn't really there to forward the story. The cameos didn't forward the story.
Yeah,
They
but
were
would
just
you have said that, though?
and-
How many times is that character, that's just completely a sex object, he's the receptionist, how many times has that been done with women and it's completely hysterical? They're only there to be dumb and pretty. And here you've got this
But it's
reversal.
still a throwaway. I'm not saying that's any better either. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've in the past raved about the hot dumb female secretary.
Well, I was charmed. I was charmed.
It's a nice little movie. I don't know if I would call it charming. I would say it's
No, I was
entertaining.
charmed by him.
By him.
And I was charmed by the movie. I think I liked this much more than you did.
Probably, yeah. But I still liked it. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm not going to give it glowing reviews. But I'd say it's a thumbs up. It's a positive.
Yeah, and kids. I think kids, 12-year-olds, 13, 14, I think are going to really think it's hysterical.
Probably, yeah. Right around that age, yeah. I wouldn't go much lower than that.
Yeah.
Even though I think I was.
It's
younger
scarier.
than
It's
that.
scarier than the originals, I think.
Yeah, well, I that's probably due to the technology that we have now that you can make these CGI characters, very grotesque or mutated and move in certain ways. Yeah, It's a little, yeah, I think it's slightly darker in tone than the original, having this marshmallow man come around, you know. I think that lightens up the apocalypse aspect.
There's
of New York
not
being
a
destroyed.
Bill Murray satire. There's a satirical consciousness about it. There's not a Dan Aykroyd satirical conscious. It's coming. It's really working hard. It really wants you to like it very hard.
It does.
There's nothing lazy about what's
Yeah.
going on. If anything, it's overworked.
A little overworked, yeah. Like, we know that we've got a lot to live up to, so now we've got to do
carrying
this.
a baby. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I gotta walk this across a freeway.
Well, I thought they were trying to run across the freeway.
But we're talking about a really bad summer for motion pictures. So if they're not animated, you know, I think you really, I think it's been bad.
What did you think of you have our review of Ghostbusters. What did you think of Independence Day?
It was those movies were not made for 3D. They were made for drive-ins. It was terrible. It's a terrible motion picture, but terrible. Tarzan. Again, okay, I gotta say, Tarzan though it does have a hysterical kind of, you know, as a popcorn movie. Again, there's such trash out there. I say go. I mean, it really should be called though. It's really not called. It shouldn't be called The Legend of Tarzan. It should be called Tarzan and Jane Meet Samuel Jackson in the Congo. Is what it should be, because they don't show you that at all in the preview. That a great portion of the film is Samuel Jackson knee slapping and a mugging right into the camera, and oh yeah, you'd have no idea that it basically. And Jane can't wait to go back to the Congo. Tarzan does not want. Okay, they get tricked into going back to the Congo. I'm just going to tell you that by Christopher Waltz. That's what happens. Okay, so they get tricked into going back to the Congo, and Jane insists that she go with him, and he doesn't want, but she insists, and she packs and looks at pictures. It's like she's going to Club Med. She's so excited about going to the Congo and going back to the villages. Like she has no idea the danger. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely fantastically ridiculous. But it's a lot of fun. And it clips right along, too.
So you had fun. You would recommend that one?
I would recommend it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, again, you know, it's like, all right, it's like we're at the Golden Corral. I would recommend the whole kernel corn and the, you know what I'm
So
saying?
there's stuff that's not like horrible, but it's not like where's the tent pole? Where's the filet mignon? You know, where's the good stuff that's gonna hit?
We had a very responsible Pixar film and a very responsible Illuminations film, Secret Life of Pets. Very responsible. Other than that, it's been pretty bad.
Well, you don't get much higher praise than responsible.
Well, they were good. You could.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Everything's just kind of if it hasn't been here, it's been there hasn't been the wow.
Well,
Where's the wow factor this year?
Movies are made by committee. That's what happens sometimes.
Well, someone's got to pay for it. But I'm just saying, you know, why can't we have smart people on
It's
the committee?
just so bizarre that television and movies have switched. It used to be that television was ridiculously, almost exclusively for children. You know, it was the sensibility.
And
was,
movie stars did not do television.
And
now
if
there's
you
like
wanted to
Netflix
see something
series
adult, you went
Yeah.
out to the movies.
Yeah.
Now motion pictures are almost exclusively for
children,
14-year-olds, and television has all this really in-depth.
Because adults can afford the Netflix subscriptions, and so they're watching these original series.
Is that what it is, or it's just that it's easier to get those finance? I think it's easier to get that kind of thing
It
finance.
might be a little bit both, yeah.
But because everything now has to be sequel ready. You know, you can't just be a good movie. It's got to be a property. You have to want to build a theme park ride based on it somewhere along the line.
Is that formula working now?
Well,
Are they hoping it works because people would naturally want to come to a brand name? I'd really like 10 years from now, I'd like statistics on that. And everyone who bet on that, fire them.
wow! I've never really.
Yes.
Wow!
Yes.
I've refrained. You know, I've
Yes.
cleaned up my language so much on this show.
Yes, fire them.
But wow.
Anyway, that's my take. I want to see some good content, not the franchise setup. I don't want that.
Well, it's summer. It's summer.
Well, see, franchises, most of them, they don't start off as franchises. They start off as someone had a good idea, someone made a really good movie, it had that magic mix and made it land, and then, you know, we can build on this rather than let's plan out the whole thing.
Well, that's because half the movies you see now, more than half,
Yeah.
are either sequels or remakes.
Right.
Well,
Anyway.
now you really are sounding.
That's getting tired.
Now you really are sounding like old.
I'm just saying.
Hey, you kids, get off my lawn.
No, I just want
good movie. I remember.
I just want good
Ricky and Judy.
content. If you have a great sequel, fine. But don't start planning on number 4 if you haven't even finished making one good. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You proceed with caution. Oh, well, look, you got bonus reviews. I like this, like doing ours and then having some extra bonus reviews. That way you get even more for your.
You get a coloring of the whole
your internet
thing,
subscription.
and now I am looking forward to the Star Trek movie, even though I'm not expecting anything new and dynamic. I just want to be with them.
I've been hearing, you hear the buzz. It's good, but I'm not excited about it.
I want to be with them. I want to be with those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to spend some time with them.
I'm just not excited. I'm gonna go in positive. I'm just not excited about it. I'm not like pumped up about it. Like, oh, next week, definitely.
I think the test is going to be Suicide Squad.
Oh, I'm not excited about that at all.
Because I think that a lot of people might feel just like that. I think it might be.
I think that should be our next one. I think
right.
that should be our next one because
will be.
again, that's another controversial movie.
Yeah,
is it gonna land? Is it gonna suck?
I have a feeling it might really piss me off.
Is it gonna help DC with their multi-cinema universe, or is it gonna just tank it?
It already has that
They
attitude
haven't got their
that's
stuff
pissing
together.
me off. So I don't know. I've got to clear my head because I've got a little bit of a tude.
I think we should make that our next one.
All right.
That would be.
But I've got a little bit of a tude about it. I got to say.
Me too. All right.
Full disclosure. All right.
I'm Tony.
I'm Louie.
And this has been Talking During the Movie.
It's been so bad. And and now that suddenly that you can put penises in movies, they're just everywhere in every comedy all the time. And there's nothing wrong with penises, but this.
Yeah. So why are you complaining?
But well, how about a little respect? I mean, you know what I mean?
Show some respect.
Yes.